You won't believe it. This wall hides a shocking secret. Just one brush and a terrifying story emerges. Unfortunately, the tech was as slow as molasses, and those two were stuck waiting in the hallway until Thursday morning. Finally, the results came in. The fingerprints belonged to Victor, definitely not normal, with a history of violence. Oddly, he was freed a year early by his lawyer, who was the last case's victim. The chief led a team to arrest him. But Julianne rolled her eyes internally, thinking a mental patient couldn't possibly pull off such an elaborate plan. Yet, the arrest was still on. They had no choice but to follow. The cops quickly surrounded Victor's place, and once inside, they nearly choked in the sight of Victor lay there like a zombie, covered in nasty bumps, with lazy scrawled on the wall. And oh, his left hand. Yeah, it was missing. Next to the bed, there was a box with a vintage photo, and a bottom one. Yup, it was Victor from a year ago, totally different vibe. Clearly tortured for a year. Just when the cops went to check if he was alive, he suddenly started talking. I'm alive. I'm alive. Someone better get him to spit it out. You got to check his passport. Turns out Victor's not dead. Cops rushed him to the hospital and out in the hall. Niels was fuming, convinced the killer was taunting the police, while William told him to cool it and keep his emotions out of the investigation. Suddenly, Niels spotted a reporter sneaking pics. He flipped the guy's camera and let loose with a string of insults, and William just... Niels' temper was bound to get him in trouble. Cut to the hospital. The doc examined Victor and discovered he had been shot up with tons of antibiotics. His tongue had been removed ages ago, and the relentless torture had driven him to the brink of madness. He couldn't communicate at all, which put a major roadblock in the investigation. That night, William got a call from Tracy. Faced a dilemma and needed William's advice as he had no other friends. Friday arrived. They met up at a restaurant, and Tracy confessed he was pregnant with Mill's child, but he hadn't told his husband. He didn't like life here and was scared to drag Mills down. After hearing Tracy out, William gave him some golden advice. If you don't want to keep the baby, don't let him know you're pregnant. But if you're going for it, cherish every moment. Back at the precinct, they dove into the case again. Niels thought the killer was a total weirdo, and suddenly William had a light bulb. A killer committing such heinous acts must read a load of related books. If they could just find the library's boring list, it might get... He quickly printed the list and met up with an FBI buddy to get a list of the recent borrowers of those kinds of books. The FBI infiltrated the library system to monitor reading. If someone borrowed a lot of dangerous books, the borrowing records would ping to the FBI to prevent potential incident. Yep, the infamous surveillance plan from back in the day. Shortly thereafter, his friend handed over a list, and using the address provided in the information on it, they arrived at John's residence. Just then, someone appeared in the hallway, and Niels took off after him. But he wasn't familiar with the area, and just as he hit the outdoors, wham, a gun was shoved right into his face. Niels felt utterly hopeless. His life was hanging by a thread. But shockingly, the guy just put his gun away and let him go. Niels felt utterly humiliated by the killer. He was angry and wanted to storm in and collect evidence, but William stopped him. No search warrant, but even the boring list was legally obtained and when hauled up in court. But Mills was already seeing red and kicked John's door down. William devised a plan. Have the landlady report John's illegal activities for a legal search. Once inside, they found a bunch of bizarre tools, and in the cabinet, a fat guy mask. There was also Victor's left hand, a book, and a queen's photo. The bathroom was filled with victims' pictures, definitely pointing to John as the killer. Just then, Mills found a photo of him and William in the bathtub. It was John. What puzzled them was that there were no fingerprints in John's home, and they couldn't trace any spending records either. They realized they had to stop the killer before the fourth incident happened. Fast forward to Saturday. They traced the receipt to a leather shop where the owner revealed that John had crafted a pair of weight-for-it knife and ounce undies. At that moment, William got a call from the precinct. They found the woman in the photo. They rushed to the club with adult sewn on the door, only to find the woman inside had been murdered, and the cops nabbed a male patron on the spot. Under William's questioning, the man explained he was forced by the killer to wear knife-infused undies and sleep with the lady. Clearly still shaken, he was all over the place. The two were super frustrated, missing another chance to catch the killer. That night, Mills sought comfort from his wife, while William tossed and turned like a restless octopus. He needed a metronome to sleep, but angrily flung it across the room. Fast forward to Sunday, and the precinct got another call. A model was found disfigured and bled out on her bed, hands smeared with pills and clutching the phone. She could have called for help, but chose to keep the disfigurement under wraps next to her bed. Pride was carved into the nightstand. At the precinct, William decided to aid Mills in solving the case before retiring, sharing wild, violent tales. Just then, a blood-drenched man entered the precinct, dramatically exclaiming, "I know you. Now, step back. Back away immediately. Whatever's in your belly, get IT out of here now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can get more exciting tales."